Hello there everyone and welcome to a new review on the channel. And as you may have guessed from what's on the table, today we are going to be looking at Ditto by Ellusionist, a very interesting product, one that is already kind of popular online. There's already kind of a lot of reviews on it, but I want to throw my 2 cents into the mix as well, since I have bought it, since I'm going to use it, since this is part of kind of my show. I do want to make my review on it, tell you how I'm going to use it, why I really like it. And yeah, so let's roll the intro and get straight into a review of Ditto. Perfect, so you decide to stick around, which means you want to learn more about Ditto. Now, what is Ditto? Ditto is essentially a set of Sharpie pens and a pen holder that is going to let you know what color the spectator picks. If you watch the trailer, you know how this works. I won't fully explain it here, but I will hint at it. So if you want, just go watch the trailer before continuing the review and you'll get a better idea of what I mentioned. So that's essentially what it is. It's no electronics, nothing like that. If you do, also, I do want to mention before we continue that this is not going to be a video where I'm constantly comparing this to Anverti or to Pro Mystique's product. Even though I own Color Match, I haven't made a review on it, but if you want a review on it, you can tell me and I'll be reviewing this as well if you want in the coming week to know which is better for you. But this won't be a Ditto versus Color Match. This is basically just going to be me reviewing this for what it is and for what it does. I won't be contrasting it on every single point, even though I will on certain things. This won't be a comparison video. So now that you know what this is, I can't really do a performance here for you because I don't have anyone with me to perform it to, but I will tell you the best routine that I think you can do with this, the absolute best, and the routine that I will do and that I have done in my parlor show and how I use this. And that routine is essentially a color match psychometry routine. So the way that I would perform this, I'd have the pen holder on the table with the Sharpies. I would then proceed to have 5 spectators come up on stage. I would take the black pen, since we're not going to be using it, and I'll tell them that what I want you to do is I want you to come here one by one. We're going to go here. So we're going to start from here, and one by one, I want you to think of a color here. When you know the color that you want, I want you first, you take out your color, you use it, and I want you to draw a simple drawing with that color, okay? And then you're going to take the pen and place it in your pocket. Then the second person, you're going to look at the colors that are left. You're going to come up on stage, take the pen that you like, remove it, draw a drawing as well. Then the third spectator would do the same, and the fourth the same, and the fifth will just be left with one pen, so he doesn't really have a choice. So he's going to take it, and he's going to draw his drawing. You then have someone take all of those 5 pictures, mix them up, shuffle them together, and then when all of that is done, you turn around, and you tell them, perfect, can I have those? You square them up, you place them on the table, you take the first drawing, and you say, perfect, so, and you give a reading and you determine whose drawing it is. You do that with the second, the third, the fourth, and with the fifth, you say, so clearly there's one color left, which means that it would be kind of unimpressive for me to determine from the use of color and the drawing that you made what it is. But maybe even without looking, I can determine what you drew. So then you would do your thing just like this. You'd get a feeling and tell them, so you had, for example, the green pen. And a lot of people with a green pen, they would draw a tree or something, but you drew something different. You actually drew something that is basically never green. You drew a cake. Did you draw a cake? And then they're going to say yes or whatever, right? So that's the routine where I feel this excels over others. I feel this is where this routine excels over others, and I love this routine. So, having said that, where do you buy this? How much does it cost? And what do you get? So you can buy Ditto from Ellusionist, but it's also being pushed to other retailers. So I know Magic Dream have it. I know some other retailers have it as well. So you can check that out for yourself. So this will cost you $99 US, which is around 120 Canadian. And what you get is this. So you get your Sharpie pens. I will show this to you. You get your Sharpie pens, they give you 6, okay, different colors. These are normal, so if ever they run out, These are not gimmicked or they don't have any special properties. These are just your normal staples or Amazon Sharpies that you can buy from Amazon. So those are normal. And then you also get your main gimmick inside of this box. And that is this. It's your pencil, your Sharpie holder where your pens will go inside, okay? So you are getting this, you're getting this, so you're getting the pens, you're getting this, and then there's also here an extra added thing that is gonna let you set it up, that's gonna let you do what you need to do for the effect. So that is essentially what you're getting. You can see it like that, okay? And that's essentially what you get with your purchase, okay? You also get, of course, let me not forget, the instructional video. The instructional video is with Pete Turner, and he does tell you how this works, how to set it up, the effects. There's a bunch of effects. There's kind of a similar routine to what I told you with the color, with the drawing psychometry. There's something similar here that you can do. He does tell you can do the typical, you know, like the drawing thing where someone fills in the colors on the drawing and then you're able to determine what the colors are or predict in advance. I personally don't like the way that works. If you want, I will give this to you. The way that I would prefer to do this is instead of having the spectator take a pen, then show it to everyone, then you have to turn around and you tell them, okay, so you chose a pen or whatever you want. I feel that it's a bit gimmicky and iffy to do the routine like that. The way that I would do it is I would have the spectator take this, I would have a drawing, and I would number 1 on the hat, 2 on the shirt, 3, 4, and 5. And I would tell them, first I want you to look at the hat. I want you to look at all 5 or 6 of these pens. Take the one that you want, think of the one that you want, take it out, and I want you to color the hat and place the pen inside of your pocket. And then you tell them, perfect, so now move on where it says a 2. You have a free choice. Take something and color it. They would color it. So then they would color the drawing essentially in the order with any color they want. So this is not the type of thing where you have to turn around or anything like that. So then what I would do is I would tell them, keep the drawing close to your chest, make sure I can't see. Then you turn around and you tell them, can you take out the pens and just place them on the table for me? Because we're going to try and do something here. And I'm going to tell you, can you think of the first thing? Can you think of the hat? Think of it. And then I would go like this and say, look, I'll do the drawing as well. Can you think of the hat? Can you face the audience and just think of the hat? And you would take this and you would color it. You then go again and you tell them, think of now the shirt. Think of the color you used for the shirt. And you would do it, and you would do it, and then at the end, you would have one drawing colored on your chest, they would have a drawing colored on their chest, and then you tell them, you had a free choice, right? Boom, and the drawings match. I think that this effect, or the way that this works better doing the effect that way, rather than something where you are already dressed up, or you have a prediction. If you want to do something where the spectator, you know, where you're dressed up in a certain suit of color or whatever, and you want to reveal, or if you have a prediction like hanging already from the start, I think that you're better off doing it with something like this. But I feel, to me, this works better in routines where you really get a feeling, kind of more, I don't know, that's maybe just my style, but I feel this works better in routines where you're kind of getting a feel of what they did, where you're kind of like reading their mind, or you're trying to get information of what their choices were. I feel that this, and the way this is built to work, I think it works better that way. And I think you understand why I mean that, because you have the pens here, and while you're getting a feeling, you're doing this. So look at where my head is going, right? It's going there. So I can take all the information that I want just by doing that, and it feels normal because I won't be doing this, right? I want to get a feeling without being influenced, so I'm going to go like that. So there's that routine as well, and there's a bunch of other routines. Now, that was a big tangent, but I feel that this could be valuable for some people to make them see how you can use this in other ways than what is in the tutorial or shown to you, and really make this and apply it to yourself. So, having said all of this, and knowing what you're getting, how kind of this would operate, and everything. Let's get into difficulty. So how difficult is it to perform? It is super simple. As long as your spectator can pull out a pen from the pen case, from the pen holder, the effect is going to work. That's simple as that. Depending on the routine that you want, you may have to do a few things, but pretty much ultra, ultra, ultra simple. The only thing that you have to be careful for when you perform it is make sure in the way you tell them, think of the color that you want, and only when you have the color, approach the holder and take it out, right? Because you don't want them to do something like this, because if you've watched the trailer and you kind of know how this works, you don't want them to go like, right? You don't want them to do that, right? You don't want them to do that. So you have to be careful in your language, and also put this somewhere in the middle, because I did a mistake in one of my first practices where I did it, and I placed it already to the side here, right? I had placed the pen holder to the side with the pens inside. And what happened is a spectator, the first one came, the second one came, and the third one came, but the fourth and fifth, they were far away. So what they did was they came, they took the pen holder, they put it like this, then they took the pens out, right? Because it was too far. That's my mistake. So if you do it on stage or whatever, make sure to place it in the middle, because now what happened is they placed what I'm supposed to see out of my view. So when I came around, I couldn't see it. I was like, what? So then I had to go around. I had to take this, handle it like this, place it in front of me like that. And it just felt awkward. It just felt awkward, and it felt out of place, and it felt weird, right? So make sure that also, if you want to do it like this, place it in the middle so that everyone has the same, distance to go. That was my mistake, because I placed it here. The person, logically, if it's super far away, you're not going to go all the way here. You're just going to take it, bring it closer as well for the other spectator, and they're going to select. So make sure also a bit of audience management is needed. In terms of how this works, mechanically, super easy, but there is a bit of audience management you need to take care of. But except for that, pretty easy. Moving on to practicality. What is the practicality of this? Practicality-wise, you'll have to carry around your Sharpie pens, and you will have to carry around this. So carrying-wise, this is not something you're going to bring at your walk-around gig, right? So this is not something you're going to bring out from your case and say, can you please pick a pen? That is going to be the most awkward and weird thing ever. Why would you need a pen holder to have them pick a pen? You would just take these from your pocket and tell them, pick a pen, right? So you will have to carry this and this, which means that the fact of how this works and how it's set up, this is not an effect you're going to perform walk around. We're going to talk about that in a moment. But nonetheless, you carry this and this with you, okay? And then moving on is inspectability. I feel once the effect is done, I feel that the pens are kind of, in the hands of the spectator, and they're not really going to suspect the pen holder. Even if someone, as they leave the stage, they go and they do this, there's nothing to see. So I think inspectability wise, this is pretty good. And especially because of where you would perform this, as we're going to mention in a moment, you're never going to be caught out in terms of your props. It's just going to feel kind of normal. Moving on to angles. Angles is like 270. So basically any angle moving like that. So that's basically a 270. So like that, right? So kind of any 270. No, so no one basically where you're standing. So no one can be like shoulder to you or behind you, because they may see something. So you have to you have to make sure about that. Regarding something that people have said, sound. I don't know if I got like a new version of it or whatever, but mine does basically zero sound, like actually zero. There was a worry that this does a bit of sound, but I've performed this close up at my house for some people, and there was literally zero sound. Like, I was actually scared that this wasn't working because I couldn't hear anything. So there was zero sound. So regarding sound, I don't think that's an issue at all. Maybe since this is like the second or third batch that Ellusionist has done, maybe they've done a few tweaks to it. I don't think they did. But to me, there's zero problems with sound regarding this. And another thing is the reset. You cannot reset this. So if, as I mentioned, this is not a walk around thing, because the reset does take like 15 to 30 seconds maybe. So you can't reset this at all in front of people. So when you perform this, it's a one-off. You perform it and then you're done. If you perform it in a parlor show, anything like that. Of course, if you perform it, if you want to perform it a few times during the night, or if you're at you're at a seated table and people come to see you, after every time you use it, you will have to go under the table, reset it while other people come to see you, and then go again. So the reset does take a bit. And the last thing that I want to mention regarding practicality is lighting and positioning, because that is the biggest topic of debate regarding this. So regarding lighting and debate, regarding lighting and positioning. So in the position that I am now, I am able to see everything that I'm supposed to see, okay? So in this position, I see everything. If I were to stand up in this exact position, the cup would have to be a bit here, right? If I were to stand up and the cup was here where I'm now, where I can see everything, and I stand up, I won't be able to see it. The cup would have to be there. And the lighting as well, you can't really have lighting depending on where you perform. You have to make sure that the light doesn't blind you and that you can see what you can. So yes, it could be an issue. They address it in the forums, they address it in the tutorial. They do address this, but it's not as big as an issue as some people make it out to be. I think it is still very visible most of the time, and I think that by eliminating the black, which I always do, you avoid the issue of a spectator choosing the black pen and maybe messing up your seeking. So what I always do, I start with the black pen, I show them what they want to do, I do it, and then I put this in my pocket, right? Because as I give the instruction, then you're going to place it in your pocket. I place it in my pocket, so the black pen is gone, right? The black pen never enters play, which means that it's going to be a bit easier for me to see everything if there's no black pen. So yes, lighting could be a problem, and I feel that you should test it out before you perform. I feel that yes, you should test it out. Make sure before you go on stage to test and see kind of the positioning and stuff if you can, because it is the only gripe kind of that I have with this product, to be honest. So you just have to be careful of that and be careful of where you position it and how you're going to do it. So having said all of that, let's move on now to where to perform. So where would you perform Ditto? Where would you go out and perform? As I mentioned, this is not an effect you go strolling. So you're not going to take this out and go from table to table to table to table. This is also not an effect you're going to do street magic, or this is not an effect you're going to carry around with you to do at a bar. Again, if you want a strolling or street magic effect, there are other variants. This is not it. However, this where it excels, for me at least, is parlor and stage. I feel that if you know the settings where you're going to do this in parlor and stage, I feel that not having to rely on any electronics, not having to rely on any receivers, on any batteries, on anything like that, even though they haven't failed me yet, I would much have preferred this. I do think it's also very beautiful to have this in the middle of the table and have spectators take it out and show it rather than just have the pens just spread out like this. I think it's much more beautiful as a display to have everything, you know, like this in the middle of your mat in your stage performance or in your stage set. Have everything like this. I think it's a much better visual and it looks very professional, right? To have it like this and then the spectators do what they need to do. So for me, I think parlor stage, you can really get away with using this, using it well, and performing it if you are satisfied with the lighting conditions in that regard, okay? So regarding performance, I feel this works basically for parlor stage or at your house. So if you're at your house or at your office and you have the pen holder, you can place these here and have them at a moment's notice to do the effect. So I think that's where this plays best. So having said all of this and having rambled on for quite a bit, let's give the positives and negatives and go into the verdict. So what are the positives and negatives? So as always with the negatives, let's start with the negatives. What are the negatives of this? 1, you will have to carry around your pot and your crayons. 2, this is only, in my opinion, good for parlor, stage, or certain scenarios at your house or at your office. And third of all, you will have to be careful a bit of your lighting conditions and of your audience management, as I said, because you don't want to be like me where the spectator just took the thing and moved it towards them. So you do have to take care of a few things, but those are the main negatives. So the positives, what are the positives? One, I think that there's the fact there's no electronics, there's nothing like that involved here is very good. Once you buy this, this is gonna last you your entire life. You're never gonna kind of lose it, except if you actually lose it. But apart from that, these you can just buy at any point. And if ever you lose your little balls, I don't know if Illusionists are going to have refills, but I don't think you should lose them. I think that I don't see myself losing them anytime soon. So this is basically something you buy for the rest of your life without worry of it going bad or anything. One, it's super easy to do. It looks very nice. It works very nice. It's presented very nicely. It's packaged nicely. The tutorial is good. There's a ton of effects you can do with this. And it's a very good alternative for the price. The price is very good for this as well. For the effect that you can accomplish with this. So having said all of that, would I recommend Ditto, and what would I rate out of 10? I would recommend Ditto. I think that if you saw how this works, you liked it, you enjoyed it, and you listened to the review and you listened to other reviews as well, I think that if you're still considering buying this, you should go for it. You're going to be happy with your purchase. I would recommend it for mentalists. I wouldn't recommend it for card or coin magicians or anything like that. I think this could be a very good alternative to use in your shows as well. And yeah, I'm going to give Ditto an 8.75 on 10 because I am using this in my show. I'm doing the routine that I told you in every parlor or stage show that I can get. I am doing that routine. It's a mainstay of mine. I love it. And I will be using Ditto to accomplish it. So yes, I do recommend this. I do think it's good. And I do think you can get a kick out of it. However, if you already own something like this, or you already own the Pro Mystic ones, you know, is this worth it? I think since it is so cheap, it is nice to have an alternative. I think that even if you own this, having an alternative is cool for certain scenarios or at your house or something like that. Or if you forgot to replace the batteries or charge whatever, and you have a show and you forgot about it, having a plan B is great. So even though there's other versions on the market, I think this is very good. And I know that a lot of people hate electronics and they run away from electronics in Magic. So I think that having a version to do this effect that doesn't use your phone, an app, like gimmicked electronic pens, receivers, buzzers and all that, I think having a version that can do pretty much any effect that those can do as well with a prop that uses none of that technology is great. So yes, I would recommend it, and I am going to be using this. So yeah, that's all I have to say. Thank you so much, and make sure to leave a comment, like, and subscribe, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye-bye.